I never believed in fate, at least, not in the way movies or books talked about it. I thought life was a series of choices, roads we take and ones we pass by. But then she walked into my life, and suddenly, the word fate didn't feel so ridiculous anymore. There's a certain kind of stillness you feel before something important happens. It's not peace, exactly, more like the world holding its breath. That's how I felt the day I decided to ask Elena to marry me. Not just nervous. Suspended. Like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, heart pounding, unsure if I was about to fly or fall. We'd been together for 3 years. Not the easiest years, either. We loved each other fiercely, yes, but love isn't always soft. Sometimes it's a mirror that shows you the parts of yourself you'd rather avoid. And Elena, God, she was the bravest person I knew. She saw all of me. Not just the version I put on for others, but the raw, restless, hurting parts I'd spent most of my life hiding. And still, she stayed. That's how I knew she was the one. But love, I've learned, doesn't guarantee certainty. I picked the place intentionally, a hill just outside the city where we'd once ended up after getting lost on a drive. That night, we'd parked the car and walked in silence under a navy blue sky, hand in hand. I remember she turned to me and said, "If we ever forget why we love each other, let's come back here." We hadn't been back since. So when I planned the proposal, that's where I brought her. I had a ring hidden in the inside pocket of my coat. Nothing flashy, just a small sapphire in a silver band. She once told me diamonds felt too sharp, too loud. She liked the quiet kind of beauty, the kind you had to sit with to really see. We stood at the edge of the hill as the sun dipped below the horizon. I looked at her, the way her hair caught the breeze, the way her eyes softened when she turned toward me, and I felt everything all at once. Fear, hope, love, a wild, aching kind of love that left no room for anything else. I pulled out the box, dropped to one knee, and looked up into her face. "Elena," I began, my voice trembling, "you are the bravest, kindest, most maddeningly beautiful person I've ever known. Being with you has changed me in ways I'm only beginning to understand. And if you'll let me, I want to spend the rest of my life growing beside you, learning from you, loving you. Will you marry me?" For a moment, there was silence. Not the sweet kind. Not the kind filled with awe or wonder. Just silence. And then, quietly, she said, "I can't." I didn't understand at first. I thought maybe I misheard her. But then she shook her head, and the tears in her eyes weren't from joy. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't know you were going to." I wasn't ready. The ground disappeared beneath me. My first instinct was to smile, to play it off somehow, to say, "It's okay, no pressure," like it hadn't just gutted me. But the words caught in my throat. I nodded instead, stood up slowly, put the ring away without looking at it. She reached for my hand, but I took a step back, not out of anger, just confusion. "I thought we were ready," I said, barely recognizing my own voice. "I thought we were too," she said. "But sometimes love isn't enough. Not when we haven't figured ourselves out yet." We drove home in silence that night. It was the kind of quiet that wasn't just about words. It was heavy, unspoken emotion hanging between us like fog. I cried alone that night. The kind of cry you don't even try to stop. Because it wasn't just rejection. It felt like a goodbye. But here's the thing. It wasn't. Over the next few weeks, we talked. Really talked. She told me she'd been afraid, not of loving me, but of losing herself. She said she needed to know she wasn't just becoming someone's other half, but still her whole self. And honestly, I admired her more for that than I ever had before. I told her I didn't want her to be half of anything. I just wanted to walk beside her, through everything, no matter how long it took. We rebuilt, slowly. Honestly, we took the time we hadn't before to ask hard questions and sit with uncomfortable answers. There were nights we argued, nights we cried, and nights we held each other like our lives depended on it. Because sometimes they did. 6 months later, we went back to that hill. This time, she asked if we could go. As the sun dipped below the trees, she took my hand and placed something in it. The ring. The same one I had offered her months before. "I kept it," she said. "I wasn't ready then, but I am now." I looked at her, tears in her eyes, strength in her voice, and I didn't even need to kneel this time. Elena, I whispered, are you sure? She smiled, that soft smile that always undid me. I've never been more sure of anything. And so, under the same sky where she once said no, she said yes. That night, we didn't need fireworks or music or celebration. Just the wind, the stars, and the quiet kind of love, the kind that breaks, rebuilds, and chooses again. And I knew, more than ever, that our love wasn't perfect. It was real, and that was enough to build forever on.